Ian, Ham, Jonah, and Dan walked into the motel looking wet and bedraggled. Ham gave the girls a thumbs down. Ian grabbed a towel from the bathroom and wiped the rain off his face. "Dock workers are an extremely uncooperative bunch," he said. "I saw Jonah pull out every trick in his celebrity handbook," Dan said. "We still couldn't get aboard that ship." "I found out from some guys that Dan was right," Hamilton said. "The storm is driving the ships into port ahead of schedule. They're going at top speed, so we might be dealing with 1 or 2 days until disaster, not 3. Kara and I have been talking." Amy quickly filled them in on contacting Atlas. "Thank you for informing me of this major decision," Ian said in a chilly voice. He wadded up his towel and tossed it on the bed. Amy knew he must be really upset. Ian would never toss a wet towel on a bed. "Don't you think we should have all had a vote in this?" "It's not a decision," Amy said quickly. "We haven't set up the meeting. We just wanted options." "Well, this is certainly a dangerous one," Ian said. "Meeting with a weapons trafficker? Do we have a choice?" Dan asked. "Our guy is going to blow up a city. Whatever we're dealing with here, it sure isn't tractor parts." Ian hesitated. "I realize that we don't have a choice. I just don't like this. Who knows if he'll even contact us," Kara pointed out. Just then, her phone buzzed. She bit her lip. "He wants to meet," she said. San Miguel del Ande, Mexico / Boston, Massachusetts. Aunt Beatrice's face loomed on the computer. "I don't have time to talk to you now. I leave for Palm Beach tomorrow." She walked across the room and disappeared. Her voice came to them faintly. "I have to pack. Now, where are my light cashmeres?" "You have to stay in front of the computer, Aunt Beatrice," Nellie yelled. "How can I do that if I have to pack? We can't hear you if you get out of range. We just need a few minutes. Don't go in the..." Nellie slumped back. "Bedroom," she said in a despairing voice. "I tried a video conference with her," Fisk said. "Part of my brotherly duties. She hasn't quite gotten the hang of it. It's like she expects me to follow her around. Reminds me of my childhood. In other words, depressing and annoying." "So what do you do?" Sammy asked. Fisk shrugged. "Eventually, I just give up. We don't have time to go to Boston and see her," Nellie said. "This is impossible." "Wait, she's coming back," Sammy exclaimed. Nellie shot forward. "Aunt Beatrice, we're still here." "I know you are, Nellie," Aunt Beatrice said. "No need to shout, and why do you call me aunt when I'm not your aunt? You're not even a Cahill, technically. I mean, not by birth." Aunt Beatrice made a face. "I don't approve of this outcast person taking over the family, because, after all, who are his parents? But he might have a point about the youth taking over. I admit you had some early successes, but where is the wisdom? My potential, for example, has been entirely untapped. It's obvious that I am temperamentally a Lucian due to my leadership qualities, though my first husband always said I must be a Janus because of my creativity, and a Thomas because I always beat him at tennis. Oh, he was a lovely man, until he divorced me. Then he was evil. Aunt Beatrice, if we could just stay on the subject, but I am on the subject. My leadership qualities are why Patricia invited me to Singapore to meet the outcast a few months ago. What? Nellie exploded. Well, she didn't call him that. She just said there was a fascinating man I had to meet who had wonderful ideas on how to manage the family. Naturally, I said no. I smelled something fishy, and even though there are some sublime Singapore fish dishes, I wasn't about to go. That doesn't make any sense, Sammy whispered to Nellie. Just roll with it, she murmured, her eyes on the screen. Besides, I detest those long flights. My ankles swell. Singapore? Nellie asked. What happened? I don't know, do I? Because I didn't go, Beatrice snapped. Keep up, dear. Patricia was very put out. She said this person had big plans, and I'd be sorry that he could, what was the word? Professionalize us. Is that even a word? Wait a second, Fisk said. Are you saying you knew about the takeover? Of course not. Nobody said anything about a takeover, and they completely misjudged me if they thought I would approve. I may not agree with putting this young whippersnapper Cabra in charge, but he was chosen, and they approved. And if we start overthrowing things, we'll be no worse than that horrible Rasputin, who shouldn't be a Cahill at all. Talk about outcasts. Nellie pressed her fingers against her eyes. Aunt Beatrice, please, can we stick to the point? Was that outcast in Singapore? Yes, I said it 3 times, didn't I? When Patricia said he'd been an outcast, I just assumed he was one of the Cahills who Grace had booted out of the family. Some of them were quite charming, you know, despite their wrongdoings. Take Fisk here. When he isn't glowering at me, he can be quite pleasant. I've told you, Fisk said, with an edge to his voice, over and over. Grace made me an outcast to protect me. So you say. I don't ask questions, and I'm not a gossip. Fisk snorted. So, you don't know who the outcast is? Nellie asked. I only know what I told you. I didn't pursue it. To tell you the truth, I never liked Patricia all that much. Can we talk about Grace's enemies? That Patricia, all she cares about is money, shopping, and her position. She was furious when her cousin Alistair, what is that expression, went rogue, and helped Amy and Dan. Can we get back to my original question? Nellie asked. No, I haven't found my light cashmeres, Aunt Beatrice said, and you know perfectly well I can't go into Palm